Hello everybody, this is the Untitled Critic and I'm back with another game on Steam Deck, and for today we're taking a look at Moonlighter 2 Endless Vault. So shout out to the publisher for providing me with an early review code for this game. Over the last couple of days I've been playing it on my Steam Deck OLED and I have a lot to share. Alright, so what this game is about? Well, this is a sequel to the original 2018 Moonlighter, and that game basically was a 2D pixel graphics, where you go into randomly generated dungeons, you explore them, you find relics, you fight enemies, you come back, and then you sell these relics at your shop. And then you upgrade your shops and so on. However, the game made a massive jump from that 2D pixel graphics to full 3D. As you can see, the game is now fully in 3D, featuring highly detailed environment, dungeons, weapons, enemies, bosses, NPCs, and so on. I must be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of the original. I felt the combat and the 2D pixel graphics wasn't really my cup of tea. However, in this game, I must say, this is seriously addicting. The gameplay is just crazy addicting, especially with all variety of weapons that you can unlock, that basically you will have to bring their materials and then you can craft them in your village. These features like short sword, big sword, gauntlet, and so on. And the game reminds me actually a lot of Hades. As you explore these dungeons, as you move from one room to the next, you can gain some power-ups. Obviously, these power-ups will only work inside the dungeons. Again, similar to Hades, this roguelite elements. And the further you move inside the dungeon, the higher the tier of loot that you will find. So you start by finding common loot and then uncommon, rare, and so on. And also you will find some of the friendly NPCs inside the dungeon who will help you as you move further and further. You fight more powerful enemies, you fight bosses, and so on. At any moment while exploring the dungeons, you have the option to just go back to your village to retreat. However, the further you move inside the dungeons, the better the loot that you will find and the bigger the challenge. So there is that risk-reward element. Because if you are killed inside the dungeon, then the value of your loot will be slashed in half. Everything that you have in your backpack. So again, sometimes you just want to push a little bit more, but you're also out of potions, and your health is low, and you're not very sure if you can take the next boss. So it is really this interesting balance that you need to find. Once you're back to your village, you can talk with NPCs, merchants, take on some new side quests, upgrade your character, upgrade your backpack, make sure you can carry some more health potions, craft new weapons, armors, and so on. And most importantly, here is where the second part of the game shines. This is where you get to sell the relics that you collected through your dungeon run. The rarity and the quality of the relic will determine how much people are ready to buy it for. Obviously, you get to set the price that you want, but setting it for a very high price will mean that nobody will buy it. So obviously, you will want to find a balance between pricing your relic at a price that's not too expensive, where nobody would buy it, but also not too cheap, where you will undercut yourself. Even if you're not really into that job sim elements, the game is still just so much fun, to set up your prices and your relics, and then to ring the bell and let the customers in and see how they are reacting to the prices and to the stuff that you collected through your run. It's really addicting. It's really fun, and at the end of the day, when you have a wallet full of money, it just feels good. Obviously, this also advances the story. So making more and more money is also related with some story elements, which I won't be talking about for now. So I've been talking a lot about the gameplay elements. Let's now talk about the performance. How does this game run and look on the Steam Deck? And as you can see in my footage, I've locked the game to 40 frame rate on Steam Deck. Inside dungeons, I noticed that I can hit somewhere close to 60. However, there were like a little bit dips below 60, and which was fine. However, when I went back to the town, the village, whatever you want to call it, I noticed that when I'm moving between there, the frame rate seems to be locking itself to 40. I don't really understand what was going on. If there was just some internal frame rate limiter or something. There was one in the settings. I did try to turn it off, but still inside the village, I was always just stuck to 40. I don't fully understand why. It seems that the game is able to hit 60. However, I decide just to lock the game to just 40 across the board, make sure that I'm getting this consistent 40 everywhere, in dungeons, in village, and honestly, just for this kind of game, especially since it reminds me of this isometric look, of a game like Darksiders Genesis, that when the camera is moving very slow, you don't really need that high frame rate. This is not a first person shooter. The camera is just very smoothly moving, so I decided just 40 is just perfect, and honestly it's very playable, it's very enjoyable, no problem whatsoever. As for the settings, the quality settings, it was on high when I started the game. I decided just to lower it to medium, so everything you're seeing right now is on medium. I simply didn't really notice any difference when I'm moving between high and medium. The performance seemed to be the same, and the quality of the graphics seemed to my eyes to be the same, but I decided to keep it at medium just to make sure I have an overhead, and also to get the best out of the battery, out of the Steam Deck. With that being said, everything else was on default. I believe the VSync was on, I turned it off. Frame limiter, I also turned that one off. Everything else, just default. The game just runs and looks perfect on Steam Deck. However, there were two crashes that I encountered. One was out of nowhere, around 30 minutes mark into the game. The second actually happened like 3 hours in. I put the Steam Deck to sleep. I tried to turn it back, to wake it back on, and it did crash in the Steam Deck. So I had to, to reboot the Steam Deck just to turn back it on. So so this was worth mentioning. However, the publisher did mention in the document of, when I received the review code that, hey, this build is, not the final build, that they should be working on it more. So I hope that will be the case. I hope that the final build of the game, when it launched on November 19th, will be more stable. From my testing, I would say the game should be Steam Deck verified on day one. It looks great, it runs great. The game seriously look way impressive, and especially on the Steam Deck OLED. It's a very colorful game. It's very vibrant. Full of colors, and just the 3D effects, everything how it looks 3D, it just looks great. Again, I decided to just look at some old footage from the previous game, from the first Moonlighter, and the difference is just insane. Obviously, the jump from the 2D pixel graphics to this game is just insane. I'm absolutely loving it. I would definitely recommend it to fans of the original. Absolutely, for sure. Probably these people already have the game on their wish list and ready to buy it and play it on day one. But also, if you've never played the first game, or you're like me, you played the original game, you wasn't a big fan of the, the 2D pixel graphics, then I would definitely say give this game a chance. It's just great. It looks great, runs great, and on Steam Deck it just feels like perfect set for the Steam Deck. You take just like a quick jump into a dungeon, you play there for 20 minutes, you're out. You go to your shop, you sell the stuff. It just feels perfect for that portable play. So all right guys, so that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you a really good look, and a good understanding of how Moonlighter 2 Endless Vault will be. And yeah, I hope it helps you make your decision about this game. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're not, share this video. It really helps me a lot. And your support on this channel, all these views and comments and likes I'm getting from you is the reasons I'm able to make this video happen. That's the reason the publisher are sending me this review code. So I really appreciate it. And again, shout out to the publisher 11-Bit Studio, and also to the developer Digital Sun for making this game, for sending me this early review code. Really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll be making some more similar reviews in the future. All right guys, so that's it. We'll see you next time.